PC エンジン512色スーパービジュアル6チャンネルリアルサウンドニューワールドを制覇する PC エンジン全開 NEC から。
Hey everybody, welcome back to Video MSO. Today we're continuing the series, the PC Engine Playhouse, where I take a look at some of my favorite PC Engine games of all time. And today we have a very different one than what you've been seeing. It's Gotzendiener. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. My German is rusty, but this game is just wholly unique amongst PC Engine games. You're either going to absolutely love it or absolutely hate it. Now, normally I start jumping right into the gameplay action, but the story is so important in this game. You need to understand what's going on. It kind of motivates you to actually play the game, because this basically takes every video game trope and turns it 100% on its head. Because you'll see here at the beginning, there is this evil castle, and there's a warrior going to try to save a damsel in distress. It has so much fun story throughout the entire game, and it plays around with what your expectations of a video game on PC Engine would even be. That this is one of my favorite games of all time on this system, even if I'm not quite sure if it is actually an A+ level good game. But you'll see here our knight encounters this monster and our damsel in distress is hanging above him, and a battle is going to ensue. That is how the game starts, and you go from there, but not in the way that you would expect, because the minute the battle is over, the knight has been wounded enough, he falls to his death and dies. The playable character is the woman swinging from the chain there, and she goes from that damsel in distress to a full-fledged warrior in about 10 seconds once you actually understand what to do. But I'm going to tell you right off the bat, if you want to play this game, it is going to take you 5 to 10 minutes to get used to the controls. It is very interesting on how you actually navigate, because it is isometric. But you go ahead and pick up the knight's sword, and that kicks off the entire adventure here. She goes from a helpless princess to a warrior in one cutscene, and I absolutely love that because it kind of perverts the expectations of what this game was really going to be about and totally changes everything up on you, but it works so well, and again, it's different and unique compared to everything else on the PC Engine. The most similar game I can think of is Prince of Persia, not from the gameplay perspective, but just from the adventure perspective, because the isometric view in this completely changes everything. You get your sword, and that is all the story you get. You need to figure out how to get out of this cursed castle. But that is where so much fun of this game actually comes from, the challenge of navigating around, solving puzzles, and engaging in some light combat, because this is not just a puzzle game. You can attack enemies, and you're going to have to. If you sneak up on them, you'll get a free shot, and she just disemboweled that creature right there in front of you. But again, it's just the overall graphical style and quirky nature of this game that really intrigues me to it. You have multiple different levels of the castle, multiple floors to deal with, and so many different puzzles to figure out. You're always wondering what's around the next corner, and when you get stumped, this game gets wheedled into your brain. It gets stuck there, and you start thinking about what you should do next, which makes you want to come back and play even more, because you're going to see there the ladder broke, so now we have to figure out another way around this problem. And you can see that there's a set of stairs there that you can't quite use yet because they are held up by chains. Pretty much every screen shows you something that you need to solve and might give you a little bit of a hint at how to do it, but otherwise it is all up to you. Because obviously if the chains are holding those stairs up and the chains are going up through the floor, we must have to get some verticality to figure out what is going on. And the game will also teach you that you can push and pull objects as well as jump over small holes. This creature right here is blocking our path forward, but we can push him. This game does such a great job of actually teaching you the basic mechanics in the first starting area, then letting you loose in the castle to use all the things you learned to figure out where to go next and what to do next. And I love that from a gameplay design perspective. It gives you just enough to teach you what it is you need to do, but it doesn't hold your hand, because now that we've reached the top floor here, we have found a pulley and chain system which is going to release those stairs below and allow us to progress further into the game. And you'll see if we take a look out the front, that is the pillar that we were first hanging from when the game started. It even showed us there was a floor on top, even though you didn't quite realize it yet. And the game is so good at doing that, giving you these little visual indicators of what's coming next, what you need to do next, but still giving you the full sense of satisfaction of discovering on your own. But now that we've lowered those stairs, we can go down to that lower level and progress further into the game, and this has a very unique and interesting soundtrack as well. It's more ephemeral than anything, so go ahead and listen for like 45 seconds and I'll come back and show you a lot more of this very charming game. Enjoy! It's such a very interesting soundtrack and I absolutely love it, but again, this game telegraphs things. You'll see those boulders in front of the ladder there, and you know you could go up that ladder if you could just get the boulders out of the way, but you need to figure out how that's done. At the beginning of this area, there's only one path forward. It's hitting this bell to use an elevator, and you need to figure out where to go next. And I love that. It feels like an adventure game married to an action platformer in all of the best ways, because you're going to see this door here is boarded up from the other side, and at least now you really can't get through it. It shows you where you need to go and then leaves it up to you to figure out how to get there. So every time you solve a puzzle, that sense of satisfaction of being able to outsmart the game and understand what it's asking of you really just gives you a feedback loop that makes you want to play one more screen to figure out what's going on. Because if we walk over here, we're going to see another barrier we can't get past, but a set of stairs going down. And when this game gets further on, the amount of stuff within it and the paths you need to memorize gets pretty complex. But you're going to see here we found a sledgehammer, and what does a sledgehammer do? It breaks things. You know exactly what you're supposed to do next. You take that elevator down and you're going to be able to now smash those rocks to be able to use the ladder. And throughout the game, you're going to get different items for your inventory as well as a few magic spells, and they're all going to be important in some way, shape, or form. You need to find the items, understand how they work in the universe, and employ them to your advantage the exact way that an adventure game works. Sometimes you're going to get an item and you're going to have no idea what it's for yet, but you will figure it out later on down the line. You'll find a creative solution to use it. You'll see we have a cockatrice up here, and it's going to fly down into another area of the map, giving you even more to explore. And that is what is so good about this game. The sense of exploration and puzzle solving is second to none on the PC Engine. You want to know what this bell does, why it's here, why it jiggles when you hit it, and what you're supposed to do with it moving forward. And you'll see here we now see a crack in the wall. We need to figure out what would be the best way to break through that. Maybe it's the sledgehammer, maybe it's something different. I mean, I know how it works, but I'm not going to tell you here in the video because I really want you to go and experience this yourself. Hang with it, get used to the controls, understand how to navigate the world, and really get engrossed in the puzzles and the overall atmosphere of this title. I guarantee you that if you give it 20-30 minutes of your time, you're just going to want to see the ending. As now you'll see we have this candelabra. Well, I guess it would be more of like a freestanding sconce since it's on the ground. I'm not sure if there's a word for that. And you think maybe you can push that into this door here to burn it out to make yourself a little shortcut, because you can get on both sides of this. We're really just trying to make navigating the world a little bit easier, but you just need to play around in this game and figure out what it is you need to do next. Because you notice here on one level, those bells have ropes. You can cut the ropes and drop the bells down to a lower level, but the question is, what does that even do in the first place? What benefit is there? And there is a blockade, nothing to break in that corner. And that's where this game just really excels. It makes you remember what's on every single screen, it makes you think about what you need to do next, and it makes you wonder what's going to come later in the game. The sense of discovery and satisfaction when you figure something out is second to none on PC Engine. But if you can think of a game that does the same thing on the PC Engine hardware, leave me a comment down below, because I do not have a photographic memory of the entire library, and there are so many games on this console I have just never played whatsoever. But now in this area, even I was stumped, because it's been years since I've actually checked this title out, but I was excited to find out what happens next. I know visually this is not the most interesting game to watch on a YouTube video, so I hope the intrigue of what's going on in the world of this game really drives you forward and makes you want to play it. And I will say graphically, it doesn't use a ton of colors, but the animation on the sprites and the overall isometric view and the world itself just really drives everything forward, because it is just an awesome game and it is so unique. On a system that's known for having a ton of great shmups and platform games, this one just stands on its own as being something completely different that the system just didn't do. Feels more like a DOS game, a really early DOS game at that, or maybe even something on the Amiga than on PC Engine. But trust me, play it, you're absolutely going to love it or you'll hate it. Your money back guarantee from me, and you paid me nothing. Bye bye.